All right, let's talk about something that might sound a little tinfoil hat, a hardware solution for digital privacy. But stick with me, because what seems extreme is actually based on some pretty shocking technical truths about the phone in your pocket.
Yeah, I know. That's a pretty bold statement. I mean, our phones are everything, right? They're our connection to, well, the entire world. But it turns out that all-in-one convenience, it's also a massive gaping hole in our privacy.
And look, I know what you're thinking, but I've got a VPN. I use secure browsers. And you think that would be enough, right? But here's the problem. It's not about the apps you're running. The real issue is baked right into the hardware of the phone itself.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll shatter the single computer illusion of your phone. Then we'll look at your SIM's digital fingerprint. We'll expose the great VPN bypass, and after all that, we'll get to the fix, a hardware solution called siloing, which leads to a really cool idea called the light switch rule.
All right, first things first, we have to correct a huge misunderstanding about your phone. You see, when you hold it in your hand, you think you're holding one single computer. You're not. That's completely an illusion.
Okay, so what you actually see and touch, that's run by the application processor. That's the part running iOS or Android, all your apps. It's the computer you think you own. But hidden inside, there are two others. There's the baseband processor, that's basically the modem. It's a completely separate computer that speaks the language of cell towers. And then, believe it or not, your little SIM card, that's the third computer, a tiny little system with its own brain acting as your ID on the network. Now let that quote sink in for a second. What it's saying is that two of those computers, the modem and the SIM card, can have their own secret conversations, and the main computer, the one you control, has no idea it's even happening. It's like two people whispering in the corner of a room and you can't hear a word. We're not saying it's evil, but it's happening completely outside of your control.
And that brings us right to that third little computer, your SIM card. You know, we think of it as just this passive little chip, but it's not. It is the golden key that links your physical phone to a digital identity, an identity that can be tracked absolutely everywhere.
So, every single SIM card has this unique identifier called an IMSI. The best way to think about it is like a digital fingerprint. It's totally unique to you, and it's what the entire cell network uses to identify you. Anything you do on that network is stamped with that fingerprint.
And because of that fingerprint, your cell provider can see exactly where you are, 24/7, just by watching which towers you connect to. They can literally build a map of your daily life, log who you talk to, and oh yeah, they have a well-documented history of selling all that incredibly personal data to third parties. Pretty scary stuff.
Okay, so we've established the carrier is tracking you. Big problem. And that's exactly why we all use VPNs, right? To hide our activity. But, and this is a huge but, that's not the whole story. Because there's a second betrayal happening, and this one is coming from inside the house, from your phone's own operating system.
The whole point of a VPN is simple, right? It's supposed to create this private, encrypted tunnel. The idea is that all of your internet traffic, every single bit and byte, goes through that tunnel, safe from anyone watching.
But this is what's actually happening. You turn on your VPN and sure, most of your traffic goes through the tunnel like it's supposed to, but Apple and Google have built in a secret backdoor for their own services. This data just completely ignores your VPN and goes straight to the internet. It's a total bypass.
And no, this isn't just some conspiracy theory. Researchers have proven it. On iPhones, super sensitive stuff from Apple Health, Wallet, even Find My just skips the VPN entirely. Same goes for all your push notifications. On Android, same deal with core Google services. Your phone's operating system has basically given itself a VIP lane that your security tools can't even see, let alone block.
So, let's recap. We've got two giant privacy holes. One, your carrier is tracking you using your SIM card. Two, your phone's own OS is poking holes in your VPN. So if you can't trust the software, what's left? You got to change the hardware. The solution is to physically separate things. It's a strategy called siloing, and it basically means taking your internet connection out of your phone and putting it in its own separate box.
Think about it. Right now, the problem is that everything is in one basket. Your phone's OS controls your apps, it controls your internet connection, it controls your VPN. It has total power. And if it decides to ignore your security settings, well, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
But what if we take that power away? What if your phone wasn't the gateway to the internet anymore? By taking your SIM card out and putting it into a separate mobile hotspot, you physically break that chain of command.
Now, your phone just connects to a Wi-Fi network. It has no idea how that Wi-Fi is getting internet. It's lost control.
And this simple change gives you 3 massive privacy wins. First, that VPN bypass? Gone. Your phone's OS can't bypass a Wi-Fi connection it doesn't control. Second, all those sketchy baseband communications, they're now happening on the hotspot, which has none of your personal data on it. And third, that digital fingerprint? Now, all your carrier sees is a hotspot using data. They can't see which apps you're using or what you're doing. Their ability to profile you is drastically reduced.
Now, this hardware fix opens the door to a totally new way of thinking about how we use the internet. It's a mindset that puts you back in the driver's seat, and it's called the light switch rule.
The idea is incredibly simple, but really powerful. I mean, think about it. You don't leave every single light in your house on all day and all night, right? So why on earth do we leave our internet connection on 24/7, constantly broadcasting our location and data? The rule is just this. Treat your internet like a light switch. You only turn it on when you're about to walk into the room of the internet.
And actually doing this is super easy. Your hotspot is off by default, your phone is offline, maybe in airplane mode. Then, when you need to check something, you physically turn the hotspot on, you connect, you do your thing, and when you're finished, you turn it off. Boom! You've just shrunk the amount of time you can be tracked from 24/7 down to just a few minutes a day. And that, right there, is the whole point. It's about taking back your digital anonymity by creating a physical wall between your internet connection and your personal data. You could say it's a hardware fix for a software problem, or maybe a software trust problem.
So, it all comes down to this. Now that you know your phone has its own agenda, an agenda that can literally bypass your own security choices, are you going to change the way you connect? Something to think about.